Is there a problem?
No, I went fly fishing this arvo and caught a couple of nice trout. And since you're on your own and I'm on my own, well, we both had to eat.
You thought you'd bring them round here for me to cook?
No, Vinny cooked them at the pub. They're hot, they're spicy, they're ready to go. If you don't believe me, believe Puddles.
Beats baked beans on toast. While you're here, you can clean up Puddles' latest.
So how's Josh doing in Melbourne?
Josh is fine.
Good. And you two are good?
After only 10 weeks, why wouldn't we be?
Okay, I believe you.
Really?
It's just... you don't really see each other that often and everything happens so fast.
Evan, when you do your sergeant's exams, you'll learn about making fast decisions. And about having an attention span that is longer than 10 weeks.
Doubly so.
And to be honest, if you're going to come over here making comments about my marriage, maybe it'd be better if you didn't come over at all.
Tess, are you all right? Tess, do you need a doctor? What is it? Is she going to be okay? We'll take her from here.
Odds are she's going to be fine.
Odds are? What's happened? I thought you were in Melbourne.
What has happened?
We already some fish and she had trouble breathing.
What sort?
Well, wheezing, it could have been asthma, and then she just collapsed.
And these fish, how old are they?
Caught 2 hours before we ate it.
Caught where?
In the river.
Go back to wherever it was that you and my wife were eating these fish, collect the remains and bring them back here.
Yeah, but shouldn't I...
Doing something useful? Yes, like getting those fish as I requested.
So how is she?
She's very ill. It may have been anaphylactic shock. I need to know more about the history of this stuff that you fed her. Len, have you got the phone book?
Well, as I said before, I caught the fish upstream in clean water. I took them back to the pub and Vinny cooked them for me.
Then, bear with me. I'm just trying to picture this. You thought it would be a good idea to take the then-cooked fish over to the police residence.
It was too much for one. And Tess was on her own.
Thanks for getting it to the hospital so fast. I'll need to get this stuff analysed. Can I contact you at the Imperial if necessary?
No, I'm going to hang around for a while.
Why? Are you experiencing symptoms yourself?
Mr. Ogden, I'm sure it's just gone astray.
I'm ringing the police.
It's not
Sounds like that's for you.
I've been robbed.
Can I help you, sir?
Yeah, by not sticking your bib in where it's not wanted.
Mr. Ogden, I'm Constable Jones.
Gee, if the service was always this good, there'd be no crime at all, would there?
He's saying his airline bag's been stolen. I'm saying mislaid.
2 six-packs in it, what you might call a valuable consideration. I won't get a wig's sleep without it.
Mr. Ogden, you're not supposed to bring alcohol in with you.
And that's why you stole it.
Oh, I have better things to do than deal with cranky old buggers.
I may be a cranky bugger, but I'm not old. Oh, look, nurse. I'm a martyr to me lower back. I need a few jars to help me get to sleep. It's not like I've got a problem. Look, you know me. Do I have a drinking problem?
Could you just tell me when you last saw the bag?
When Fancy Dan showed me the locker.
Fancy Dan?
That could be Gareth Davies. He's an orderly and he's on tonight.
The thing is, it's not just the beer. There's me wallet with $700 in it.
Oh, I'm glad to see you got your priorities right. Why didn't you say so?
You could have put it in the safe.
I thought the locker would be fine, but this Gareth gives me a key and nowhere to put it. What's the good of that?
All right. So what did you do?
I tossed the key in with the bag.
And you didn't like it?
Thought I could depend on the honesty of those around me.
And this Fancy Dan would have seen you do that?
I heard the bag clank when he put it into his locker. Anyone who's bringing that amount of alcohol to hospital's got a real problem.
Your point being?
My point being that Mr. Ogden wouldn't know where his bag is. You get a lot of them in hospitals. Isn't that right, Doctor?
A lot of what?
Alcoholics. We get our share. Some don't even know they're alcoholics until they've been in a day or so and start getting withdrawal symptoms. It's not uncommon. He's put the bag down somewhere and forgotten where. Cleaner will turn it up.
Hello?
You.
Just let that be a lesson to you.
Lesson?
If you told me Josh was in town, I never would have called by.
Why would that be?
You know, Tess.
This has got to stop. I'm
Just relax.
married to Josh.
Just relax, Tess. I was joking.
You
I was
have got
joking.
to let go.
Just relax.
Hey! I thought I said Tess needs to be left alone. You've got to leave. Now!
I want a word with you.
Listen, I'll just get on with it, mate.
Hello.
I've got the council environmental health officer crawling all over my kitchen and she's threatening to bring in food safety as well.
Yeah, well, I didn't call him.
No, you didn't have to. You told Josh that Vinny cooked the fish for you.
Josh got him on here.
Why didn't you just cook it yourself, Jones? It's just a bit of fish. It's not rocket science, you know.
I don't know. I just wanted them to be special.
Why, for God's sakes? Well, there's nothing like landing a woman in hospital to make a good impression, is there?
Look, Chrissy, I'm sorry about the health, but I've got to get on.
Can we help you?
Yeah, just following through on Wally Ogden's missing bag.
Oh, Wally Ogden.
Mr. Ogden's made a complaint, and given the amount of money involved, we just need to check which staff and patients we're around.
Dr. Carmichael, we were just talking about you.
Yeah, your patient, Miss Morton, is asking for more pethidine.
It's fine. I'll go see her now. Lenny?
Lenny, before you go, those people that were around last night?
Forget it, Constable. You're no competition.
I'd say Wally's bag is long gone.
Yeah, you're probably right. Tess, up and about.
What are you two doing here?
We're professional food tasters. We're here to make sure that nobody else gets any dodgy fish.
Wally Ogden reported a bag missing.
Wally Ogden. Is he a patient here?
Yeah, why does everyone say that, Wally Ogden?
Wally just tends to elicit that kind of response.
Found it. It was in the visitors' lounge.
You sure it's his?
Well, it looks like it. It clanks like it. Even has his name on it.
Wally, ever seen this?
It's mine.
Careful!
Sorry. Can we just get you to check through the contents, mate?
We found it in the visitors' lounge, Mr. Ogden, where I think you may have left it.
Never did.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Can I check that? We'll get one of the nurses to put it in the hospital safe for you, Wally.
Is there something else missing, Mr. Ogden?
No, all present and correct, yeah. It's all there, all right.
$30. Check.
Do you mind?
Wally, it's empty, mate.
So why are you still looking for something in it?
Because he's confused.
Is that right, Wally?
He's just had his pre-med, and people react in different ways to that. How are you feeling, Mr. Ogden?
Yeah, like you say, confused.
Now, if you'll excuse us, Mr. Ogden is due for surgery.
Boss, he was looking through an empty bag. Something was stolen.
Did he say so?
Well, he denied he was looking for anything.
Yeah, while still looking.
Which suggests this missing, whatever it was, illegal, embarrassing.
Angie, can I help you?
I'd like to talk to someone about Wally Ogden.
Sure.
He came out of theatre about an hour ago, and he's saying that he was aware during the surgery.
Aware? What, like conscious?
And he's not the first to be saying it either. There's been a few recently.
But how could someone be aware? I mean, wouldn't he have said something when they put the scalpel in?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, anaesthesia's a complicated process. You got your pre-med, which is the pethidine. You got your anaesthetic that puts you to sleep. And then you end up on a ventilator and totally immobilised.
Is it possible that Wally and all the others might have just imagined all of this?
Wally told me stuff that was said during the surgery. He repeated it word for word.
What do you think's going on?
Well, you realise this could get me into some trouble.
You're here, aren't you?
All right. I think someone on staff is stealing the pethidine.
One of them was talking about going to Hawaii on holiday. And another one made certain remarks about... well, it's not my fault if I'm well endowed, is it?
Yes, those remarks were made in my hearing.
What I'm saying is, I knew what was going on the whole time, could feel everything, and couldn't say a word to stop it.
Were you in pain?
Sort of numb pain, you know. And I could feel them tugging at me insides.
All right, Mr. Ogden, we're gonna look into it.
Be my guest, whatever happens, it's not going to stop me from suing.
Well, that's your right, Wally.
I paid to be put under and I never got me money's worth. That's got to be worth a quid or two.
Who signed out the drugs for Wally's op?
It was Lenny Mueller and Dr. Josh Carmichael.
Mr. Ogden got the appropriate amount of pethidine at the appropriate time.
Right, so someone who needs pethidine, where's it kept?
In the nurse's station, in the dangerous drugs cupboard.
Obviously, that's a restricted area.
Yeah, it's purposefully not made easy. One person can't do it on their own. Hospital policy. There has to be 2 people.
Who are?
Usually 2 registered nurses, but it can be a registered nurse and the pharmacist, or if things are rushed, a registered nurse and a doctor.
Right, so what's the procedure of giving injections?
Injectable meds and drugs of addiction are kept in the DD cupboard. The nurse draws the drug up into the syringe, and the other person checks that what's in the syringe corresponds with what's supposed to have been in the ampule, and then they fill in the DD book and sign off.
And then the cupboard is then locked?
Yeah, of course. And then at the bedside, the double checks continue.
So is it foolproof or not?
Well, of course not. Nothing's foolproof. Even with checks, balances, security cameras, the works, any system can be bypassed. And if Mr. Ogden didn't get his medication, then that's a very serious matter indeed.
All right, let's start with the DD cupboard. Who's in charge of the ward today?
Where did all this come from?
Oh, I can't really tell you that, Lenny, I'm sorry.
Because... this is really dreadful, but... It wasn't Angie Cohen who made the complaint, was it?
Well, we're not at liberty to say.
Okay. But if it was... We were both up for the job of associate charge nurse. I got it, and she's been very strange about it ever since. I don't suppose... no, I shouldn't say.
Say what?
If pethidine's been missing and allegations are being made, well, wouldn't the person who took it try to cover their tracks by blaming someone else?
That girl's got to get a life.
The remarks that Wally reported being made, she said that she never heard them.
Well, she must have. She was there.
You couldn't have been mistaken?
No. She's really dumped me in it, hasn't she?
Well, she seemed reluctant to.
That'd be right. The key. She had the key. I didn't. She's the one with access. I gotta go.
I'm sorry, but we did have to follow through on the allegation.
You try and help the police, and this is what happens.
Sometimes you'd have to ask questions that you don't want to ask.
I could still lose my job over this.
Angie, I believe you. About Wally and about the others. But what we really need from you now is names, dates, times, so we can speak to those other patients. And I know that puts you in a difficult position.
No, look, I started it. I may as well see it through.
Feeling better?
Josh tells me you had him in earlier.
Yeah.
Why?
We didn't tell you why?
He mentioned allegations of missing pethidine.
Yeah, he was just helping us with...
Our inquiries. Next, you'll be calling him a person of interest.
It wasn't like that. But he was co-signatory for a quantity of drugs that may or may not have gone missing, and he was just explaining the routine involved. We're not saying he has anything to hide.
Of course he doesn't.
He's got nothing to worry about then, does he?
Parish, you're
At the high school at 10 and delivering summonses.
Right.
And Jones and I are still working on this peth business.
Well, any emergencies, we'll have to pull Jones off that.
Good morning, Sarge.
Hey, you all right?
Yeah, fine. Or I wouldn't be here.
So you feeling...
Fit for duty, boss.
Do they know what it was yet?
A reaction. I'm allergic to crustacea. Prawns, crabs, lobsters, that entire family.
But it was trout.
Poached inner stock made with the Abbeys.
Thank you,
We'll see
Vivian.
how you go today. If you start feeling crook, don't hesitate to go home.
Really, Sarge, I mean, there's nothing here that we can't handle. You really should be
If
resting.
I can convince my doctor that I'm okay, surely you should believe me. G'day, how can I help you?
Aren't you supposed to be in hospital?
No, Nurse Cohen, I'm supposed to be here. So what can we do for you?
I've got some information for Constable Jones.
Angie Cohen just gave me names of 4 patients who reported being aware during surgery.
Are they still in the hospital?
No, only Wally Ogden. The others have been discharged. But I just spoke to them on the phone, and they all gave me details of what was said when they were supposed to be under.
Did they complain at the time?
Yeah. And they all got hosed down. Medication has odd effects sometimes, can make you confused.
Yeah, well, who did the hosing down?
One said Nurse Mueller. The others said a doctor and a matron, which probably means a nurse.
So, do you think this Nurse Mueller's in the frame?
Well, maybe. And if she is, she's probably not acting alone.
All right, get on to the hospital CEO. He should have records of who signed out medication and at what time.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any tapes of the area near the DD cupboard.
Hey, wouldn't it be worth doing a locker search?
Hang on, we get a lot of cooperation from the hospital staff. If we start searching through their lockers on spec, that could dry up.
Well, at the moment, they're all in the frame. This way, we'd clear everyone but the crook. This guy's supposed to be a consultant physician.
Well, maybe his other car's a BMW. Diazepam. Diazepam. Were prescribed to Wallace Ogden. 3 different doctors.
That must be what he was looking for yesterday.
We knew they were missing, so he thought he'd get into trouble if we found out about it.
These are staff lockers. So what are they doing here?
And this one's assigned to a orderly by the name of Gareth Davies.
He nicked him.
If he did, I wonder what other drugs he might have stolen.
That's what you were looking for in your bag, wasn't it?
Where'd you find them?
You've been doctor shopping, Wally.
Sometimes I go to one, sometimes I go to another. There's no law against that, is there?
No, but use your common sense. You can get addicted to this stuff.
Bloody quacks don't know what I'm going through. Can I have them?
Sorry, Wal. Would you mind telling us what Wally Ogden's medication was doing in your locker?
When Mr. Ogden put his bag into his assigned locker, I heard the bottles clanking. It's a bad sign. So I went back later to check, and there were these 3 bottles of diazepam, all from different doctors.
So you took them?
If he's scoffing down those things on top of his medication, then the results could be life-threatening.
Why didn't you tell the other medical staff?
I should have, but I felt sorry for the guy. I had a father with a bad back. Cried like a baby.
What were you going to do with them?
While he was in hospital, he could get all the medication he needed. When he left, I intended to give it back to him. I was acting in the patient's best interests.
Is it also in the patient's best interests to deprive them of their pethidine before an operation?
Of course not.
Well, you are aware of the recent allegations of pethidine going missing from the hospital.
And what's that got to do with me?
You tell us.
Orderlies are at the bottom of the food chain. No access to the DD cupboard. There is no way I could have taken it.
Oh, yeah, we'll keep you informed.
Do you buy it?
Well, he's pretty arrogant, possibly criminal, but well-intentioned.
Anyone know any orderlies? Because I think a vacancy's about to come up at the hospital.
If his intentions were good, he'd make sure Wally got help for his addiction.
So, bottom line, Gareth Davies has a fairly, shall we say, lax approach to prescription drug use.
Which could suggest he's capable of taking the pethidine.
Well, if he's capable of stealing one drug, he's...
No, except it's true that Gareth doesn't have access to the dangerous drugs cupboard.
I'm sorry, but isn't there something we're missing here? If Wally is dependent on diazepam, he doesn't inform his anaesthetist, that could account for why he wasn't under during the op.
Well, his tolerance was too high for the amount of pethidine he was given.
Exactly. It's a possibility.
No, we got a string of complaints, not just Wally. Hospital faxed me over pages from the dangerous drugs book. These ones are the patients that reported being aware during surgery. Now, the first signature in each case is L. Mueller. Now, the second signature for Wally Ogden is Dr. Carmichael, but we knew that. But in every other case, I can't make it out.
Oh, you think it's purposely illegible, huh?
Well, it's like no other signature there.
I'm going to call a doctor friend of mine in St David's.
There are doctors in Mount Thomas.
I've got something for you. Another patient went in for an op about an hour ago. Now, the pethidine was signed for by Lenny and...
Mr. Illegible.
I was assisting, so I souvenired the syringe.
So what should be in that?
Well, if it's kosher, pethidine. My guess is it's just plain water.
There is no proof that this is the syringe that was used during that operation.
Yeah, I agree. Any lawyer worth his salt would suggest that Angie Cohen is trying to fit up Lenny Mueller.
But if the patient who's just had the op complains of being aware...
What about those security tapes you're looking at?
No, not conclusive. I mean, you can see people hanging around the cupboard, but you can't see what they're doing. Can you take this to be tested, thanks?
We should be talking to the patient.
We wait.
Then we'll talk to the patient.
Yeah, by which time she'll have left the hospital and she won't remember anything that happened. Miss Lawrence, I'm Constable Jones from Mount Thomas Police. If you're up to it, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Whoa. Excuse me, Constable. I don't know what you think you're doing, but Miss Lawrence is just out of surgery.
I was attempting to ask a few questions in regard to a police investigation.
Well, I'm sure she'll be happy to answer any questions once she's in a fit state.
What are you doing?
What does it look like?
Miss Lawrence, were you awake during your operation? You did that to stop her talking to me, didn't you?
I did that to treat my patient. Now leave before I have you removed.
Last I heard, we were waiting for the contents of the syringe to be analysed.
I just thought the fresher the memory, the better.
You just thought. What were we hoping to achieve?
Like I said, fresh memories.
You accused a doctor of whacking out a patient to impede a police investigation.
It certainly looked that way.
To anyone else, it might have looked like a doctor treating his patient.
There's a pattern emerging. Lenny Mueller is the first signature for those drugs. The second signature is illegible.
And Josh is the second signature.
I'm just trying to make sense of it, Tess.
I don't want any more of your conspiracy theories. I don't want any more surprise visits in the middle of the night when you think that my husband is out of town. I want a professional relationship out of you. I want the respect that a constable owes a sergeant. So, if you understand?
I understand.
Well, I'm not surprised that she was angry.
The Josh-Lenny Mueller relationship warrants further investigation.
She may, I don't know why, she just may think you're wrapped up in all of this too much. I mean, have you forgotten that Gareth Davies is a suspect in this?
But he doesn't have access to the peth.
We know that he steals and stores drugs in his locker. What else do we know about him?
He arrived in town about a month ago, but the drug theft started...
Take another look at him. Hey, can you stay away from Tess's husband?
Yeah, that would come in handy. All right, thanks again. Bye.
You taking up meditation then?
I just spoke to the hospital CEO. He's faxing over Gareth Davies' job application, which lists where he worked previously. But in the meantime, he suggested that the best person to talk to would be Josh.
Had you organised that response?
I didn't. Gareth Davies got the job on Josh's recommendation. So do we need a character reference?
We went to school together. You have a problem with that?
No problem.
Gareth wasn't as academic as I was. He's had a few unlucky breaks.
And you kept in contact over the years?
No, not really. But I ran into him recently at a yacht club we both belonged to. He was having trouble finding work, so I recommended him for this job.
And he's an experienced orderly?
Otherwise, I wouldn't have put his name forward.
Josh, Well, what did you think about him taking Wally Ogden's diazepam?
Well, you know, he would have been wiser to alert one of the senior staff, but his intentions were excellent.
Were they?
Was Gareth a suspect here?
He's already stolen one lot of drugs. So he might have stolen another.
Come on. You're being simplistic. He confiscated one set of drugs. To make the connection between that and these allegations of missing pethidine...
I'm sorry. Am I being simplistic in thinking that there's something going on between you and Nurse Mueller?
I want you to stay out of my marriage.
No, the question wasn't about your marriage.
Oh, no, it wasn't? Something going on between me and Miss Mueller. That wasn't about my marriage.
No. It was about missing pethidine.
Is there anything else of relevance before I go?
Dr. Carmichael, is satisfied with the treatment you received today?
Well, now you mention it. I'll see you tonight.
Test results on the syringe?
So what'd they say?
Test a negative for peth.
Mind if I sit in?
Get my guest. Test a negative for peth. It's just sterile water.
If it's the correct syringe. And because of the chain of evidence problem, that comes down to Angie Cohen's credibility.
Agreed.
You don't believe she's lying?
No, I don't, but belief is not proof.
We're pretty sure that pethidine's going missing, right? There's only a small number of people who have access. Lenny Mueller and Josh.
Oh, the one-note samba yet again.
Look, I'm sorry, Tess, but I just think you should face facts.
No, you should face facts. And the fact is that you cannot see straight on this.
All right, can I have a private word, please?
Yeah, be my guest. I've had him up to here.
I know.
Don't speculate beyond the evidence.
I don't think I am.
Do you want Josh to be guilty? Look, I don't know what she is to you, but to me, she's a damn fine copper and a good mate. And if you care about her at all, you should be hoping like hell that Josh is innocent.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Are you feeling okay?
No, it's this thing at the hospital with the pethidine.
And the fact that I'm #1 suspect.
Your name keeps coming up.
I'm not involved.
We were given a syringe today that was allegedly used to inject pethidine and contained nothing but water.
Water.
The story is it was used to inject a pre-med into one of your patients.
I blame myself for this. I've been hearing the patient's feedback and it's classic. I knew what was happening. But you're so efficient in so many other ways. I just didn't want to believe it.
Who, Josh? Who?
Lenny Mueller. Mood swings, erratic behaviour. I tried to talk to her. I clearly didn't get through.
You are not to blame. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're talking about missing pethidine, Lenny. Pethidine you signed for. Pethidine the patients don't appear to have received.
Appear? Patients say anything. Some are natural-born complainers, some want it for the high, and some are just confused.
Lenny, it takes 2 signatures to get drugs from the DD cupboard, doesn't it?
See, we know this one's Dr. Carmichael. But who are these?
Maybe another registered nurse, maybe the pharmacist.
Maybe a doctor?
Maybe.
And today's signature for Mrs. Lawrence's pethidine. Whose is that?
I don't remember. We were very rushed. I literally don't remember.
Right, well, that syringe was tested and there was no traces of pethidine.
That has to be a mistake.
Who signed for the pethidine?
Miss Lawrence was Dr. Carmichael's patient. In fact, all the patients that were affected were. So was it him?
We will find out.
He was no one. I did the second signature. The pethidine was for my use. I was acting alone.
You're here to mess up my life again, aren't you, Jones?
I don't think Lenny Mueller was acting alone.
Oh, why not?
Well, I've looked at the second signature, and it looks nothing like her handwriting.
Well, that's the whole point of faking a signature. It's supposed to look different.
It doesn't matter which way I look at it. Josh's patients are the only ones who are affected. Now, PJ, I actually don't want him to be guilty. But you can't get away from the facts.
All right. All right, just supposing Lenny and Josh are in this together. Why would she fall on the sword for him?
She's nuts about him.
But she knows he's married.
So? You don't buy any of this, do you?
Yes, I do. Lenny is lying. But at the moment, all we've got is her confession.
You said to me, forget it, Constable, you're no competition. What was that about?
Well, Lenny's got a major thing for Dr. Carmichael.
And it's reciprocated?
Some people have thought so.
Here's the new orders. Wasting the staff's time again, are we?
It's just checking a few details.
I'll be out for a while.
Do you often do that?
House calls.
While I'm here, I'd like to talk to Gareth Davies.
He's rusted off.
Okay.
What did you see? They're all mates. They were hugging. I mean, you didn't actually catch them at it, did you?
PJ, they're on together.
Jones, you should be careful. Because Tess will not believe this coming from you.
Josh is supplying drugs for Gareth. Tell us about your relationship to Dr. Carmichael.
There's nothing to tell. He's a doctor, I'm a nurse. It's a professional relationship.
So it was professional when you stole the pethidine for him?
I told you already I did that alone.
What do you know about Gareth Davies?
He's an efficient enough orderly.
And what do you think of his relationship to Dr. Carmichael?
They went to school together.
So as far as you're concerned, they're just friends?
Well, what else?
Well, let's just say Josh is not the person that you think he is.
I think I know Josh a lot better than you.
Well, who do you think told us that you stole the pethidine in the first place?
Josh would never do that to me.
I followed him today, Lenny. And the only house call he made was to Gareth Davies.
Why are you doing this?
He told you the pethidine was for him, didn't he?
Lenny, he used you so he could get it for Gareth. He's the one he cares about.
I risked my job.
Do you really want to take the fall for him? You help us. You help yourself.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here today?
Yes. Just sign there, thanks. going to tell me what's going on?
Lenny Mueller has made certain allegations.
I was hoping to disprove them without involving you.
What sort of allegations?
She said that the missing peth was given to Josh for his personal use.
But it's slightly more complicated than that.
How?
Well, that's what I've got to find out.
Well, you must have something in mind.
Tess, it's probably...
Come on, you don't seriously think I would impede a police investigation, do you?
Tess, it probably would be better if you stayed out of it.
If you want me to believe the results, you'd better include me.
With the greatest respect, Sarge. I'm sorry.
Personal involvement, Tess. No.
There's an operation scheduled. Lenny said she'd be drawing pethidine from the DD cupboard.
How long do we wait?
As long as it takes.
I'm going to take some personal time.
So we can contact you?
You can't.
Don't look at the camera, just do it.
Empty your pocket. Empty your pocket.
It's a mistake. We can work it out.
Do it.
Gareth had become dependent on pethidine, amongst other things. I tried to get him to see a counsellor, but recently he
Pressured you to get him the drug.
It wasn't like that. He was under great stress.
Because of your marriage.
That's still none of your business. I tried to help him taper off, by giving him diminishing doses.
Is that why he stole Wally Ogden's diazepam?
Yeah.
And what about Lenny Mueller?
She had access to the DD keys. She liked me. Bloody mess.
For her as well, don't you reckon?
Lied to me.
Well, I thought that was in the past, that part of me. Gareth and I, we had a thing together at school. Schoolboys. It happens. I hadn't thought about him in years, and then we ran into each other in Melbourne a month or so ago. It surprised me. I mean, first love walks back into your life. I didn't plan it. I don't want you to worry. Neither Gareth or I are HIV.
Just get out. Get out.
This marriage was convenient for both of us. And if I'm a liar, Tess, then so are you.
What do you think you're doing here?
Apologising. I admit that I don't like Josh. That's because I'm in love with you.
Now isn't the time or the place.
I'd never do anything to hurt you, Tess. And I never would.
So to make up, you bring me dog food?
Yeah, well, it kind of seemed appropriate. Me being in the doghouse and all.
Well, if I don't let you in with whatever you got in there, she's never going to forgive me. But don't get too comfy. I'm slinging you out at 9.